So as he calls us, that means that we have work to do in the kingdom. And the interesting thing about that is that no one is left out. It's part of all of our jobs. Now you might say, well, I'm retired. You may be retired, you're not retired from the church. There's still ongoing work that needs to be done. And how do we know that? We know that there are certain aspects of our world that are still hurting. Excuse me. And certain parts of our world are hurting in such a way, and there is no one to comfort them. And you and I are called to be part of what the Holy Spirit does. He is known as Comforter. So you say to yourself, if I'm called by the Holy Spirit, then what do I do? I have the answer for you. I do. A simple phrase, which we may have lost. Come, Holy Spirit, fill the hearts of thy faithful, enkindle in them the fire of thy divine love. Send forth thy Spirit, they shall be created, and thou shalt renew the face of the earth. And that's our job, to renew the face of the earth. And there's a little sentence I use with you, and it's parish. How do we make the world a better place? You can go home now. It's clear. Isn't it something, a feast as big as this one is, that it comes down to, am I willing to do one loving act after another? This is not complicated. As I mentioned, as I started on my campaign, about one loving act after another, we are bombarded the whole day with information. We even see a member of our parish on TV talking about the lions. Cracker's probably here somewhere. So, dear friends, it's okay to listen to him. He's a good guy. But we have to simplify our process, because it's really easy for us to get confused and lose our way. No one would have ever expected the kind of world in which you and I live, in that remote place where I did my mission work in the jungle. I can call them on the phone now. None of that was available. We didn't get mail for 10 months sometimes. 10 months. Sometimes we'd have to wait for parts for our outboard motors, and it would take 10 months or so. But now all of that has changed. None of us could have been ready for that. And then we experienced things like the COVID, and that really caught us off guard, but we responded. And I believe that we're able to do what we were able to do, and especially the way this parish took hold of the process of keeping the pews as clean as we can, having all of the different lotions out there to help protect ourselves. All of that is doing one loving act after another and making real the Holy Spirit. Because the first time you and I have met or experienced the Holy Spirit, most of us will not remember. I happen to remember because I was baptized when I was older. But at baptism and through the other sacraments, the promise is from baptism that the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit will come. That presence will be here. And if we count on that presence as we continue to function in the world in which we live, then we will be persons who will always be looking to love the next time. Where does our love need to be spread, or where does our love need to be felt? We will be committed to doing that loving act. That's what this feast is about. So we're going to simplify the prayer. Get in the habit of daily simply saying, "Come, Holy Spirit." Now we're going to put this in a different frame. I've talked to you about this over and over again, about the attitude of people when they're driving in our area, the metro area. I hope there are some Christian Catholics in that group. So, what do you think about this? All of these hand gestures and the other stuff, that occurs, even in our parking lot sometimes. I won't mention anybody. If we stop for a moment and simply say to ourselves, "Come, Holy Spirit." When we get in the practice of doing that, when it comes natural to us, it makes a difference in our lives and how we're going to function. And it is not your job to make all of the world new, to bring that love to all of the world. Some of us have had a chance to do that. But you always start with your own home, your neighborhood, your place of work, your church, all those places where you go on a daily or weekly manner. That's where we do our work. That's where God is asking us to use this prayer, "Come, Holy Spirit," and know that as Jesus breathed on those apostles, that Holy Spirit, he continues to breathe that upon us. And you know what comes with that breath of the Holy Spirit? Where he says, "Peace be with you." And you know that feeling after a long day and you've had a shower and good meals, maybe with your children, your wife, then you get under those covers and lay your head on the pillow. Then we know that sense of peace. You know what I'm talking about. I remember as a missionary, sometimes all I had to do was look at my pillow and I'd fall asleep. So important for us that we understand that when God sends us out, this Jesus, he says, "Peace be with you." When you go in that peaceful and loving manner, you will be able to deal with the world in which you live in an effective way. That's what he wants us to do. Because within each one of us is a special part of God, and only you can give what God has given to you to other people. I can't do it for you. No one can. We each have to make this decision. So I'm just going to repeat what I ask you to do in the morning. We get up, we sit on the edge of the bed, if your springs are solid, and we say, "Holy Trinity, thank you." The second thing we say is, "I commit myself to doing one loving act after another." The third thing, "I will be kind to myself, learn how to be kind and gentle to myself." You close it with a simple little prayer, "Come, Holy Spirit."